I have a problem, and it may be a problem that we have in common. What is it? I hoard wood. I have wood piled here. I have some piled here. I got a bunch out here. I have another pile outside behind the first pile. I have wood on the walls and up in the rafters. I even have a few small piles of wood and some in buckets. Now that's just silly. When you have a small shop like I have, space is at a premium. And cluttering up the shop with little piles of offcuts here and there is just a waste of space. But the real problem I want to address today is behind this piece of wood is my safe. Now this pile of wood will grow and shrink as I do projects, but basically there's always wood piled up right here. My table saw is about 8 feet that way, so this is just a convenient spot to put extra wood. The problem is every time I want to get into my safe, I have to move this whole pile of wood somewhere else. But now I have this pile of wood leaning against my table saw or my workbench. Wherever I put it, it's in the way. So today I'm going to build a lumber storage rack that'll fit right here in front of my safe, but it'll be on casters, so if I need to get into my safe, I can just quickly roll it out of the way, do my thing, and then roll it right back in place. It'll be able to hold sheet goods and small and medium-sized offcuts of lumber. It should keep the wood more organized and easier to get to, and actually allow me to store more wood in the same footprint. And the best part is, I'm pretty sure I have enough scraps laying around to build what I want. So I'll get more organized and I'll get rid of some of the scrap wood that's been causing me a headache. And that's what you call a win-win, so let's get started. So I came up with a design I thought would work and started going through my wood piles. I had to change the design slightly so I could build this with wood I had on hand. I didn't want to have to buy anything to complete this lumber cart. This was just a process of measuring wood against my parts list to find pieces that were not only in decent shape, but were the correct size. Once I had my design and my material matched up, it was time to start milling wood to the sizes I needed. One thing I wanted to point out is what you see me doing here. When I found a piece I thought would work, I wrote the size of the milled piece of wood I was expecting to get out of it. I would then cross that piece off my material list. This process kept everything organized and made sure I milled up enough wood. And this pile of wood is the result. Each of those pieces of wood will become one or more of the pieces I need to build my lumber cart. Because I have a small benchtop joiner, I start by breaking down some of the longer pieces into shorter, more manageable sizes. I then decided to go ahead and cut everything to its rough length, leaving them 3 or 4 inches long. I start the milling process by face jointing all the rough cut pieces. Every piece, long and short, need to have one flat face before they go through the planer. With that jointed face down on the planer bed, the planer will clean up the opposite side and give me 2 flat and parallel sides. After that, I go ahead and cross-cut and rip each piece to its final size and get ready for assembly. I know this is a different style of video for me, but I do hope you're enjoying it. This was a relatively simple build, so I thought a simple video would suit it. If this video is providing any value to you, please take the time to click the like button and subscribe to the channel. Thanks. I thought certain parts of the lumber cart would require additional strength, so here I'm nibbling away some dados. You'll see how these come into play as I assemble the cart. And a little work with the chisel to clean up the dados. Here the pieces for the base are laid out. This will be assembled with simple butt joints and some glue and screws. I'm going to put casters on the base, so I need one of these blocks in each corner so I have something to attach them to. I'm just securing them with glue and screws. These were some old casters I'd been hanging on to that I found in one of my sheds. They were pretty seized up, so I sprayed them down with WD-40, and now they work just fine. These two uprights are the back of the cart, and they're what the sheet goods will lean up against. They're set in dados and glued and screwed. The dados provide extra glue surface and will help prevent racking. These uprights will hold wood horizontally. Each one gets 3 holes to accept the 1/2 inch EMT I'll use as racks. They get glued and screwed into these dados in the base. Again, the dados provide extra glue surface, but more importantly, they will help keep these uprights upright, as all the weight they will be supporting will be on the front side. Trust me, this will all start to make sense shortly. 3 down, 1 to go. By this time my bad back and knees were feeling it. Maybe I should have assembled this up on my workbench. A portable bandsaw makes quick work of cutting the EMT. As you can see, I added a piece to the top of the back uprights, and now I'm adding a piece to the front. These additions will help to stop the uprights from racking side to side. A little adjustment. Check the top and bottom to make sure the gaps are the same. And some glue and screws. I was going to use the plywood you see in the background for the bottom shelf. Then I remembered I had this leftover OSB siding from repairing my shed. It was the right size and not needed for anything else, so I used it instead. Just drop them in place, and a few brad nails is all they need. And this is how the EMT will serve as a lumber rack. I just loaded it up real quick to test it out, and it seems like it'll work just fine. Alright guys, there you go. The lumber cart is all done. I think it turned out great. If you'll remember before, I just had a bunch of wood piled up right there. Now it's on this rolling cart. It's a lot easier to see what I have, but more importantly, it's a lot easier to move it out of the way if I need to. I have room on these shelves up front to store a good amount of wood. And then behind that, I have room to store probably 5 or 6 sheets of 3/4 inch plywood if I needed to. I don't generally store a lot of plywood. If I need a few sheets for a project, I'll go buy them and then just use them right away to build the project. But it's good to know if I ever need to, I have the room back here for several sheets. And because I have 9.5 foot ceilings here in my garage, I could put a full 4x8 sheet in here standing up and it won't be in the way of anything. The only thing left to do is to add a few more pieces of EMT to fill out the bottom shelves. And I have a simple idea for something to add to the top that will hold a large roll of craft paper that I use here in the shop. So let's go ahead and add those last few items right now. And just like that, our shelves are done, and I have a spot up here to keep my roll of craft paper. So I have the pile of wood that was on the floor all cleaned up. I have another pile that was up against my garage door all cleaned up as well. So it's only been one day, and my new little lumber cart here is already working out. So don't overlook the shop projects. Something like this was a fairly simple one-day build, but it's going to make my life here in the shop a whole lot easier. And like I say about a lot of projects like this, I should have done it a long time ago. Well, that's it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you got something out of it. If you did, please remember to like, subscribe, ring the notification bell so you get notified when new videos come out, and post a comment down below. That really helps us out. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you for the next one.